Hello dear friends, we're continuing to observe the games of the third Grand Prix tournament in Elista. For you again is working Grandmaster Sergey Shipov. The end is going to be very interesting. The leaders are all approaching it together. The draw is guaranteeing us some new entertaining games. Just look at one of the games that was promised to us in the last round, A.Grischuk against Rajabov. But there's some very interesting games today as well. Besides the game that I'm commenting on now, it's important to look at the games such as Shipov Yakovenko and Wang Yu Rajabov. Any of the earlier mentioned games that ends in a result will sharply change the situation in the standings. At this tournament, Ivan Cheparinov is on one hand playing in his classic aggressive manner, but on the other hand is pleasantly surprising us with new sides of his talent. Either way, after yesterday's subtle win over Akapan, I'm seeing him in a different light. Looks like this guy has good technique, a talent for endgames, and good feeling of the position. He's growing, maturing, becoming stronger and more diverse in his playing style. Let's see what he will show A.Grischuk. The Moscovite is playing great chess here in Elista, maybe even better than anyone. But chickens are counted when hatched, and the results will be clear after the last round. The Slavic defense. Straight under fire. And of course no compromises. The anti-Moscow gambit. The most fashionable opening in our times. White sacrificed a pawn for the initiative. On the other hand, Black doesn't have to passively defend. He is ready to counterattack at any moment. Modern chess players save on everything, like now they attack without making the move bishop e2. The immediate attack of the Black King's side was put in practice by young Georgian chess players. Bahadur Jabava and Zviad Zoria started playing like this 10 years ago. And now all the high-class chess players, after being disappointed in other variations, are learning the Georgian variation. After the first disappointments, those playing in the variation for Black understood the attack won't be free. The style of 2008. This year, a number of the most important games were played in this theme. The score in the known to me games is 3.5 to 2.5 points, White leading. But in analysis, Black holds on pretty well. Looks like Knight f6 is weaker. A novelty. Black is planning to put the bishop on h6, which will be very unpleasant for White, who is planning to castle on the queen's side. Sasha fell asleep for a little while. There's something to think about here. Before we've seen rook g8, with an advantage for White in the game Bocharov-Vityugov that happened in Sochi this year, as well as longside castle in the game Gelfond-Nair in Odessa this year. And in that game, a peace treaty was signed. An obvious argument. The white bishop is confining the opponent and he's playing to camp on g5. Obviously no good was alongside castle. Queen g6. Again, a logical answer. The possibility f6 is decreasing the grade of the house on g5, and Black is creating a virtual threat b4 with destruction, with check, of the pawn e4. Queen a3. A good solid move. The pawn e4 is defended, the queen is gone from the vertical, which will be taken over by the rook d8 very soon. And it is also aimed at the Black king. On the other hand, the blow d5 isn't possible due to e5. Also, the two very interesting moves was the queenside castle as well as f3. The exciting rook h3 didn't pass the quick check. Black is almost finished with the development. Now, almost on every move, it's important to study the blows in the center c5 and e5. The first one can be prepared by a6 and the second by f6. A.Grischuk continues to study the depth in his usual style of giving the opponent an advantage of an hour in time, because the time on the clock is 57 minutes to an hour and 53. Subtly played. White is strengthening the king's side and is implying on castling on the king's side, after which he will have possibilities for the mating attack on the queen's side. Only 2 more moves to make, bishop h3 and the short side castle. For the first time in the game, Cheparinov took a pause. On the other hand, that's not an indicator of the end of his analysis. The move g3 is seen in many computer programs, and there's a human idea to it as well. Ivan has a right to think, even if he knows the position inside and out, all the way till the mate. No, 25 minutes passed. Ivan couldn't have spent that much time. He's too young to get distracted for the game for so long. We, the older generation, on the other hand. Looks like A.Grischuk's move really was the end of the analysis. He will have to play on his own. Played after 45 minutes of thought. For now, I don't see how this move can stop White's plans. I offer to put the bishop on h3, castle on the king side, and mate. The idea of e5 isn't possible due to this. To knight of 6 followed f3, and feeling of support of White's pawn structure isn't possible to prove with variations. Seriously studied was b4, and I came to the conclusion that the strongest is bishop g2, and no good is g2. There's the threat of a dangerous check on h3 here. That's why after b4, strongest is, and here there are complications too. And White gets a dangerous attack for a piece.